why doubling your Google traffic does not equate to doubling your store sales. I'm going to go into how you can assess if you're getting good quality Google traffic, and if you're not, what can you do to improve the situation so that when you actually really double down on getting more store visitors, that's going to make a real significant impact on your store sales. Hi, I'm Clarice Lin, the ROI doctor who helps Shopify store owners to double the store traffic and sales by getting on Google and YouTube page 1. If you're new to my channel, you might want to check out my free resource, the Shopify Marketing Guide. I help Shopify store owners to explore different traffic sources, how you can get traffic from more than one traffic source so as not to put your eggs all into one basket. After downloading this free guide, you'll be able to get a bird's eye view of what are the different types of traffic sources, which is the best way to drive high quality store traffic so you can get more sales for your Shopify store. Yes, it is true that if you get more Google traffic, you are more likely to get store sales. That's true. However, it's not true that by doubling your Google traffic, that's going to translate into double the amount of store sales. That's simply not true. And this is why not all Google traffic is equal in value. Depending on which Google source are you driving traffic to your store, that's going to determine whether those visitors are going to turn into customers. Let's look at the number of ways that you can actually drive Google traffic. It could be if you have a blog and your blog post is ranking on Google search and someone click on the blog post and comes to your store. So that's one way on Google search. Or it could be someone finding your product on Google search and they come to your store. So that's also another way of driving organic Google traffic. And of course, if you have a physical store, you can also set up a Google My Business account. It could be getting Google traffic. If you have some budget on hand and you decide to try your hand in running Google Ads, cool. So running Google Ads, there are multiple ways to drive traffic. So depending on which type of campaign you're running, whether you're running like the Performance Max or you're driving Google Shopping ads, that could also determine the quality of your store visitor. If someone is coming from the Google Shopping platform, or if someone is coming from an ad they have seen in their Gmail accounts, or if someone has seen your ad on YouTube. YouTube is also a traffic source as well. That's under Google Ads. Simply, if you decide to run the Performance Max, there are 7 different ways that you can drive Google traffic. Google Shopping is what I've mentioned earlier, Google Search, Display Ads, Gmail, Google Maps, as well as YouTube ads. So there's 7 different ways to drive traffic. And the buying intention of all these people from the different channels that they have come from are different. They could also be people on a different chapter of their buying journey. They could just be doing their research because it's a high priced product, so they need more time to think about it. So they need to consider a couple of factors, maybe the pricing, a specific design they're looking for, or a specific color, or a specific brand, or a specific material. Therefore, there are multiple considerations they have to take into account. Some people need a longer time to think about it. Some people might need a shorter time to think about it. So let's say if they're at stage 1 of their buying journey and they arrive on your store, well, they're not going to start buying straight away. However, if someone's at the final stage, they have more or less decided and then they found your product, they come to your store through Google, they'll more likely turn into sales straight away. As you might have come to the same realization by now, the quality of the store visitor means that how quickly the store visitor could turn into sales, or whether this person coming to your store has any intention to buy in the first place. So there are multiple factors at work here. And of course, if you are a small Shopify store owner, maybe you don't have that much of a budget, you want to get people who are most likely or most deciding to buy. So when they come to your store, they will buy straight away. But if your store has been around for a while and you're getting some kind of conversions going on, you can afford to wait, then it could be okay for you to be getting those store visitors who are still some time away from making a decision. They might come to your store this month and then they could come to your store again a few times. Then they could decide to buy next month when payday is here. Or they could decide to buy in 2 months' time, maybe when you're running a discount. So they could be on your email list waiting for your store discount. So you will get different types of customers. And that comes to the point where I've mentioned at the start is that not all Google visitors are built equal in value. Not every visitor who comes through from Google is going to turn into a customer immediately. You, as a Shopify store owner, if you're planning to double your Google traffic, the first thing you need to be really aware of to do like a proper check is to understand if the current quality of Google traffic is good enough. If it's good enough, yes, then you will double the traffic and that would likely create impact on your revenue. And you might have a question right there. Clarice, how do I know if I'm getting quality Google traffic? Number one, if someone comes to your store page, come onto your product page, and the person scrolls down the page, maybe to 50% or to the end of the page, that's a good signal that someone is interested in your product. You're not getting someone who's leaving straight away. Rather, this person is actually looking at each of your image or looking at the product description that you have put in. So that's a good sign if someone is scrolling down the page. And this scrolling of page, if you have installed Google Analytics, you'll be able to dive into the report to see if someone is scrolling down the page. How many percent of the page have they scrolled down? You can determine then those visitors are good visitors, so to speak. The second way to determine if you are getting good quality traffic is to gauge if the store visitor is spending more than 10 seconds on your store and if the store visitor has visited more than one page. In the new Google Analytics, if you have installed, if you haven't, please install it. If you want your store to do really well and to monitor the performance and decide when you should put in more budget to increase the store traffic, then having Google Analytics installed is super important. Right now, the latest Google Analytics version that you should be installing is called Google Analytics 4, GA4 for short. And in the report itself, Google is helping store owners, Shopify store owners like yourself, to help you to understand if you are getting store visitors who are engaged. An engaged session, meaning what I've explained, visiting more than one page at a go and spending more than 10 seconds on your store. So that's a very strong indicator that someone is really doing research about your brand, about your product, checking out your other product. If a potential visitor is most likely going to become a customer, aside from the products they're visiting, they could be visiting the shipping page or the refund page. So in this case, this is a strong indicator. This is a real potential customer who is preparing to hand over their money. And if you're getting high quality engaged sessions for your store, then it's a very good indicator that you could decide to go ahead with doubling your Google Ads traffic if you're running ads. Another check you could be running before doubling your Google traffic is to review your store conversion rate. And when I say conversion rate, it's a very abstract term that is just an overall health indicator of your store's ability to turn shoppers into customers. Looking at the overall store conversion rate is a good start. But what I would highly recommend is for you to go on to Google Analytics and review your traffic sources and what is conversion rate of your Google traffic. Let's say if you're running ads, what's the conversion rate? And if you have different types of ads running, what's the conversion rate of those different campaign types? And of course, if you have organic traffic, if you are publishing blog posts on a regular basis, then you also want to check on your individual conversion rate of your organic traffic. To give you a ballpark figure of how you should benchmark the performance of your Shopify store, the overall store conversion rate for online stores is around 1.92%. That translates into if you're getting about 100 visitors to your store on a daily basis, at least one of them should be converting into a sales. However, if you're getting 100 visitors every day for 5 consecutive days and you're getting no sales at all, then it's something that you need to investigate and find out more, resolve it before actually trying to double your store traffic. If you're not getting any sales in the first place, doubling your store traffic is not going to get more sales. It means that there is something wrong with your store in the first place that you need to fix it first. If a small volume of people come to your store and at least 1 or 2 of them convert into a sale, then yes, you're on track. But let's say if you have about 500 people coming to your store and you are getting no add to carts and you're not getting any sales, then you have a serious problem right there. People are not adding to carts. What's the reason for that? Is it because they don't trust your store? Is it because your pricing is too high? Is it because you're getting the wrong people to your store? If you're running Google Ads, maybe you need to review the targeting options of your campaigns so you're getting the right people to your store. If you're running Google traffic and there is absolutely zero add to carts, then definitely there's something wrong with your Google Ads campaign. However, there's also another reason why nobody's adding to carts is when they come to your store, they don't see enough information that's giving them the trust. You don't have any other customer reviews, so there is no evidence for them to justify their purchase. They don't know if you're a legitimate store, if you're offering good quality products. Or maybe they look at some of your product images and they're like, the product image doesn't look so good. I don't think I can trust that the product that if I buy from them is going to really work. Or maybe if the store visitor comes, they don't see enough information about shipping, and they look at it and say, oh, if I buy this product, it's going to take up to 1 month before they arrive. So maybe it's not something that they want. Most shoppers, they want their products to arrive between 1 week to 2 weeks max. And this is also what Google typically recommends. If your product takes more than 2 weeks, it's highly possible that the customer might decide not to buy from you. Another reason why a store visitor might not even add to cart is because they look at your refund policy and they don't understand what it is about, or if you're not even offering a refund policy right there. It's very confusing, so they can't find this piece of information. That could also create doubts in the customer's mind. What you need to do as a store owner is to give the customers confidence. Make sure your refund policy is easily discoverable on your store. Make sure your shipping policy is upfront with all the right information. Try to offer delivery times within 2 weeks. That's going to be more realistic, and that would be more likely aligned with what a customer's expectation of a delivery time. It's okay if you are offering them a shipping cost. If your product is really good, the customer will be willing to pay the shipping cost for that. So don't be afraid to offer shipping costs if that's what you need, but make sure that the product is able to arrive to your customer's home within a sensible period of time, which is about 2 weeks. This will be the framework that I would recommend you to look at. First, you determine if you're getting engaged visitors to your store. Then you look at whether there are any add to carts. And then if there are many add to carts and there are no sales, then you might also want to set up your abandoned carts email to remind the customers. Maybe if you're able to, offer them like a welcome discount for their first purchase, or offer them a discount if they buy above a certain price. So this really helps the customer to give them the confidence, especially for those new customers for your store. And if you have not done that already, do set up email opt-ins for browsers of your Shopify store. Make sure you are getting their contact details and you can interact with them on a more regular basis. Send them emails about your new products, or if you're running a store-wide discount for purchases over a certain amount of money. So this could be really helpful for you to gain that sale, because we know that sometimes a customer just needs a little bit more time to think and decide. By getting their email address or maybe their contact details, if you are sending texts to your customers or email list subscribers on a regular basis, it keeps you at the top of their minds, and if they need certain products from your store, they're more likely to return to your store and buy from you. To sum it up, before doubling your Google traffic, do review your store conversion rate. What's the conversion rate of those Google traffic you're getting? Store visitors who are coming from Google right now, what's their behavior on your store? Are they engaged? Are they adding to carts? Or are they abandoning their shopping carts? So take a look at that. If you find that there are no issues at all, everything is good, then go ahead to double down your Google traffic, either by writing more blog posts, hiring someone to help you to produce high quality blog posts that rank on Google page 1, or you can double down on your ad budget so you can drive more high quality potential customers to your store. If you want to learn more about how to diagnose your store issues like problems with adding to cart, I have another video right here you want to check out with more details about what are the 7 different reasons of why people add to carts and don't turn into a customer. Check that out. Link on the top right hand corner of the screen. In a nutshell, don't waste your money. Make sure you are ticking all the right boxes before doubling your Google traffic. And of course, don't put all your eggs into one basket and depend on Google. There are also other ways to drive traffic for your store. Make sure to download my Shopify marketing guide to explore other possible ways to drive free or paid traffic to your store. Link in the description and pinned comments. do check that out. Hope this video was useful for you, especially if you have been seriously considering doubling your Google traffic and you're not sure if that's going to translate all into sales. This video would have given you all the pointers that you needed to be prepared for your next chapter of your marketing plan. If you found this video useful, remember to give it a like. Do subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future videos of how to double your store traffic and sales by getting on Google and YouTube page 1. I'm Clarice Lin, the RI Doctor, signing off. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.